Bad clients don't start out as bad clients. Accountancy firms actually train them to become bad. And that training starts very early on in the relationship, and accountancy firms don't even realize that they're doing it. And then what ends up happening is 6 months, 12 months down the line, they've got this client that they're really frustrated with, that doesn't seem to value anything they do, is not paying them nowhere near enough for all the value that they're providing them with, and then at that point they want to exit that client, only to replace them with another client that has tremendous potential. And rather than training them to become great clients, they will train them to become bad clients again. And in fact, the great news is that you're training them to become bad clients. And the reason why I say it's great news is because once you understand how you're training them to become bad clients, you can reverse the process and train them to become great instead. Now, there's two main touch points where the training begins, where you start to train the client to become bad. The first one's fairly obvious and hopefully you've got it locked down. The second one is much more subtle. It starts very early on in the relationship and it's actually very corrosive, and very few people spot it's even happening. So the first touch point is when you agree the scope of the work. It's during the proposal meeting. It's when you calibrate the value that you're going to be providing that client with in return for the money that they're going to be paying you. And it's very important that the way you calibrate that value is done in front of the client. They have to fully understand that you cannot be sending a proposal to them a day, even an hour or 2 hours later. We must be able to agree the fees with the client. And we also must have the parameters in place that very clearly define exactly what they're getting so that the scope can't move. So those parameters need to include what their annual revenue is, what quality of record keeping they have, what industry they're in, the number of transactions they have, the level of support they expect from you, the level of response they expect from you. All of these factors need to be considered, as well as many other factors as well, to ensure that scope can't move. And they need to understand that if they want something, they're going to pay for it. That's why we developed Go Proposal. So you need a mechanism like that to be able to agree those fees whilst you're with the client. But it's the second one that's much more subtle. It's the second one that's going to sneak in there and start to poison that relationship and get you to a point where you're going to be like, I'm absolutely sick of this client, let's get rid of them. And it's that we want to avoid, because the greatest opportunity you have now is the client base that you're sat on. So let me tell you how to, first of all, spot this problem and how to remove it forevermore. So what happens is you've agreed the scope of the work, you've calibrated that scope, and then the client asks for something extra. And it will start off as something very small. And they don't mean to be malicious. It may be something that they've forgotten. It's not even that they're trying to get something for free. It was just a small extra thing. It was an off-the-cuff remark. And so it may be along the lines of, you know, we said we've got 60 members of staff. We've actually got an extra one that's part-time. I forgot to mention, is that okay that we can add that extra member of staff in there? Or they might say, you know, we said we had 200 transactions going through our accounts every month. We've actually got 210. Is that okay? Or you said you'd reconcile our accounts every month. Would you mind doing it fortnightly? I've spoke to my office manager and they would really like that doing fortnightly. Is that okay? And then out of the goodness of your heart, because you want to preserve the relationship and you want to start off on a good foot, what do you say? Absolutely, we'll do that for you. And you do it because you want to be generous and you want to be helpful and because you genuinely care, and you don't realize what you've just done. You don't realize that the training has just started for that client to be bad, because what you've done is two things. One is you rewarded negative behavior. They've asked for something for free and you have given them it. And they're like, wow, that felt really great. What else can I do like that? So now they want to get that great feeling again where they can get more and not have to pay for it. So they will want to repeat that process. But the second thing you've done is you've just said to that client, the work that we do for you has no value. You can get anything you want for us extra and there is no value to it. That is what you've actually trained that client to believe. So then they will question your bills. They will not expect to pay for anything extra because that was the training that you gave them. And also, if you think about it, when you just agree, yeah, we'll do this extra thing, nothing physical's happened. There's nothing that's kind of changed that client's mind. We're physical people, right? If you go to a bar and you buy a round of drinks and someone says, I'd like a packet of peanuts, and you go back to the bar and you say, I want a packet of peanuts, they say, yeah, that's fine, it's $1 or it's £1. You hand over the money, they give you a bag of peanuts and you walk away and you understand the exchange that's happened. When they ring you up and say, can you do payroll for extra member of staff? And you say yes, Nothing has actually happened. Nothing physical has changed in their world. So they don't understand the value you're now going to provide, and you don't understand what you've just done. And we need to change that. We need to give it a physical nature. And the way that you do it is the instant. In fact, look for it, wait for it, hope for it. The instant they say, we want this extra thing, you say, absolutely, no problem. Let me send you through an extra work order. All you need to do is sign that off and send it back, and then we can get started with that additional piece of work for you. And the reason you need to do that is we need to understand exactly what we're doing for you. My team need to know exactly what they're doing for you. You need to know what the parameters of that are, and you need to know what that's going to cost. What, there's going to be a cost for this? Absolutely. I'll send you a proposal through now. As soon as you've signed it, send it back. Now, the reason accountancy firms typically don't do this is because it takes so long to produce that additional proposal, or they think it's not important. It absolutely is important. And even to the extent where I don't mind if you give them that small thing for free. That isn't the end of the world. But what you've got to do is you've got to make them have some pain. They need the pain of signing a proposal and sending it back to accept the work you're going to do. You may even include on the proposal, I'm going to do the payroll for this extra member of staff because we love you. Please sign the proposal and send it back. You've still got to cause them that bit of pain. Taking the pound out of the pocket for the packet of peanuts is a little bit of pain. Getting them to sign the proposal and send it back is a bit of pain, but it gives the process a physical nature, and they understand now what they're entering into. Ideally, you are going to charge them for that additional work, but it's so important. You've got to do it early and you've got to do it often. If next week they ask for something else, guess what? You do it again and you fire it straight through. If it starts to become really often, you might want to pull them into a meeting and do a full recalibration of the scope. But any small little thing, you have to send that out. That is why we design Go Proposal the way we have, because that process takes us less than 60 seconds to open up their proposal, turn it into an extra work order, add the extra thing off, send it to them, ready for them to sign. And if they're with you, they can actually sign it there and then. It is such a quick process to do, and it needs to be as well. This one single act, which seems so subtle, is fundamentally important to you preserving that relationship, because it starts to train that client to respect every single thing that you do for them. It starts to get them to value everything you provide them with. And as the relationship moves forward, it's going to start to blossom, and that client will become a great client rather than become a bad client. Thank you so much for watching this video. Really appreciate it. Please subscribe to this video, like. I'd love to hear your comments in here as well. And if you know of another accountancy firm that needs to hear this message, please share it with them. I really value and appreciate you sharing and spreading the love. And also, if you sat here thinking now, well, that's great, but I've got now a massive problem because I need to recalibrate all of my existing clients. How on earth do I go and reprice those? Then go and check out the repricing masterclass that I did recently with Paul Barnes, where we give you all the hints, tips and tricks for how to do this. We give you the exact blueprint. We show you how to handle objections. We show you how to put some sweeteners into the deal that's actually scalable sweeteners. And we show you how to get the right mindset for you and your team that's going to make this a completely frictionless and easy process. So go and click that link. It's in here somewhere. Go and grab that link, go and check that out, and that'll really help you as well.